could stay like this, forever following you.
Evening Yogi Bears, welcome back to Yogatober. This is day 3 and today I'm going to be sharing some more backbends inspired by mine and Trillium Yoga's Instagram challenge, Bend Don't Break, hashtagging it up. I keep going like that because in my head I've got 2 hands, but you know, anyway. So today is going to be some more challenging backbends, specifically focusing on a favourite of mine, which is Chakrasana wheel pose. So we're going to do a few sun salutations with a backbend twist. So, well, I don't mean twist, I mean like a focus. And then we are going to dive into some boat pose and some frog in my throat, Chakrasana wheel pose. I will offer some variations, so if you're new to yoga, I got your back, don't worry. And do make sure to check out my previous 2 videos because they are quite nice little prequels to today's one. So without further ado, let's hop on our mats and begin. Okay then guys, so today we're going to begin at the top of our mats. We're going to bring the hands together. Now close the eyes, spread the toes, tilt the pelvis just slightly, tucking the tailbone under, rolling the shoulder blades back and down, straightening the spine, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Focusing today on bending, not breaking, mentally and physically of course. If you'd like to set an intention, you can. Perhaps you want to play with the theme of grounding into gratitude, or perhaps you want to think of something else, that's fine. And then when the mind wanders, because it always seems to be a case of when and not if, feel free to bring it back to your intention, or of course bring it back to the breath. Okay, we're going to inhale, we're going to reach the hands up. And then exhale, come to a forward fold. Inhale, halfway uplift. And exhale, forward fold. I'm going to step back with the right leg. Coming into our lunge. Grounding the hands down, ready to step back into downward facing dog. Sucking the belly button towards the spine, rolling the shoulders out like jam jar lids. Maybe making a few knee bends here if that feels good, if you need to stretch it out a little bit more. Okay, we're going to bend the knees, chest and chin towards the mat. And come up into our Sphinx pose, keeping the shoulders stacked above the elbows, grounding the toes down on the hips. Hurling the toes, coming back up through tabletop and into downward facing dog. Come onto the toes, step forward with the right leg. Straightening the spine. Stepping forward into our forward fold. Inhale, halfway uplift. Exhale. And then coming up, bringing the hands over the head, having a little maybe a slight back bend here, but really opening up with the shoulders here, not really the lower back. Bringing the hands to heart center and releasing back to the side. Okay, bringing the hands to heart. You're going to reach up and back. And then take a forward fold. Stepping back with the left leg this time. Downward facing dog. Come into knees, chest and chin. Come up into Sphinx. Curl those toes, push through tabletop and into downward facing dog. Come onto the toes, bring that left leg forward once more. Step to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway uplift. Exhale. Come up to standing. And release to heart center. Allow the hands to drop. Bring the hands to heart. Now that we're here at Anahata Chakra, the heart chakra, perhaps just taking a moment to think of a grateful thought. Even if it's just something small, like the fact that it's Yogatober, or the fact that it's the best month of the year ever. Anything that puts a smile on your face. Reaching the hands up and coming over. Inhale, halfway uplift, and exhale. Stepping back with the right leg. Just bring the knee to the ground. Let's keep the right hand rooted and bring the left arm up into a little bit of a twist. Okay, stepping back into our downward facing dog. Lifting the right leg, bending at the knee, rotating out so the gaze comes underneath the right armpit. And a little bit of a stretch here. And release the leg down. Knees, chest and chin, or if you want to you can hover down, whatever feels good. And then you can stay in Sphinx or you can come up to Cobra, Bhujangasana. Elbows close to the body. And come up into your downward facing dog. Come onto the toes, bring the right leg forward. This time we're going to ground down with the left hand, bring the right arm up. Step forward into a bend. Inhale, halfway uplift. And exhale. Bringing the arms up. And release. Releasing the hands. Bring the hands to heart center. Opening up through the chest before we forward bend. Inhale, halfway uplift, and exhale, find some more space. Bringing the left leg back this time, grounding that left hand down, lifting up, opening the hips a little bit, opening the heart and chest. Bringing that right hand down, stepping back into downward facing dog. Take a breath here. Swing that left leg back, bend at the knee and rotate the hip so the gaze comes underneath the left arm. Swinging that leg down and a little bit ahead of myself. Taking a little vinyasa here. Again, you can do Sphinx or Cobra, whatever feels good to you. This time we're going to graze onto the tip toes. Come forward with the left leg, down with the right foot. And we're going to open up for our left side. Bring the hands down, stepping into forward fold. Inhale, halfway uplift. Exhale, release. And come up with the arms. Come to heart center. And release. Bringing the hands to heart center, feeling the air over the fingertips. Anahata Chakra, the element of which is air. Just reminding us that we're here to be present and even just to be grateful for that, just having a breath. Feeling healthy enough to be on our mat. Feeling grateful that we have bodies that allow us to do this. Inhale, reach up. Exhale down. Inhale, halfway uplift. Exhale down. Stepping back with the right leg, maybe keeping it in the air this time. Getting a little buoyancy in the hips. Step back into downward facing dog. Swing that right leg up, bend at the hips and rotate. You can stay here or you can continue rotating and come into a wild thing. Wild thing. Bow, down, bow, bow. You make my heart sing. Alright, bring it back around, which I can never do gracefully, but you never know, today might be the day. And knees, chest and chin. I've had a lot of caffeine today, guys, so trying to keep that mind from wandering. Oh man. Coming on to the tippy toes, stepping forward with that weave. Right leg, Keep it nice and buoyant in the hips. It's all in the hips. What is that from? It's all in the hips. Stepping forward. Inhale, halfway up lift. Exhale, release. Coming up into a little back bend. Hands to heart. And release. One more time for the cheap seats at the back. And bring the hearts to the hand, or bring the hands to the heart. And reaching up. And reaching down. Inhale, halfway up lift. Exhale. Stepping back with the left leg. Keep it buoyant in the hips. Step back with the right. Alright, this time Sorcia's going to run out of mat space, but you're going to lift your left leg, bend the knee, rotate the hips. You can stay here, or you can come into one thing. Coming back in the most ungraceful way. One day, I have such dreams of having grace on my yoga mat. And vinyasa of your choice. Come onto those tiptoes, bring that left leg forward, buoyant in the hips. Step into the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway up lift. Maybe lifting the toes this time, spreading them and release. Bring those hands up to the sky, maybe in prayer. And to chest. Release back down, thinking a little grateful thought. Opening the legs. Sounds a bit dodgy. Bringing the hands to heart. And lowering into a little yogi squat. Closing the eyes, coming back to breath. Grounding into gratitude. Placing the hands down. Coming to lie on the stomach. Okay. Alright, we're going to do a little bit of Dharasana. I can't remember how you say it, but it's a bow pose. So I like to teach this with my feet flexed because that's how I've always been taught it, and excuse me, for me it helps to protect my knees. If you want to go ahead and point your feet, you can. And just remembering, just like when we do our Sphinx and our Cobra positions, we're really opening up here through the shoulders. We're not trying to bend out into our lower back, okay? So it's really much more in the shoulders. And for me, I find the best way to do this, if I'm bending my legs, I bring my hands to the outside of my ankles, or your feet. And this way, I'm kind of encouraging my shoulders to open a bit more. So flexing the feet, gently raise. Squeezing the knees together. Finding a bit of space each time. Coming onto those hips. Rolling the shoulders back away from the ears. Flexing the feet. And release. Maybe cushioning your head with the hands. Okay. And we're going to roll over onto our backs. And we're going to give our knees a nice big hug. Maybe rock it out from side to side. A little massage. Okay. I'm going to do a little wheel kind of sequence. So let's begin with our basics, okay? So tickling the heels with the fingertips. I'm going to raise the hips and keep the knees together. If you have a block, you can hold onto the block, or even a cushion, guys, just to bring that attention there so you know that your knees aren't splaying out. Engaging the core, engaging the glutes. Grounding down with those feet. Remembering our roots coming from our bare feet. And release. Feel that tailbone sink into the mat. Okay, this time. Raising the hips. Interlacing the hands. And shuffling onto the shoulders again. Trying to keep the knees together. Really coming onto the shoulders here, protecting that neck. And then if you want to, you can raise right leg, spreading those toes. Lower. And you can spread the toes and raise the left leg. And then gently shuffle up the shoulders, release to mat. Okay. Now, if you're pretty new to yoga, that will probably be a good back bend for you guys, okay? That will be quite a nice stretch. You may even find it quite challenging, especially with the feet. So, the next bit I'm going to do is, we're going to do full wheel. But I would just say, if you are new to yoga, and you're not very confident with this one, you don't feel like you've got a lot of arm strength, I would say keep practicing the ones that we just did. Just do that sequence again. If you want a bit more of a challenge and you feel ready, then of course you can stick with me for the wheel pose. So it's completely up to you guys. Just listening to the body. Remembering we don't want short, sharp pains, okay? And being honest with ourselves, yeah? If if you find this pose difficult, then that's fine. That's completely normal because we're bending our bodies into very strange shapes, okay? So just being patient with yourselves, practicing ahimsa, non-violence, and having that compassion within yourselves as well, yeah? Not berating ourselves if we can't do something, because just remembering that we can't do it yet. I think there was an awesome TED talk I saw, and I will try and have a look for it. I'm sure it was a TED talk, and it mentioned, this woman was talking about the power of the word yet, and how by saying I can't do that yet, we're not blocking ourselves, yeah? We're saying, okay, I've got the potential to do it, and I'm laying the foundations now, and at some point I will be able to do it, okay? So even if you can't do it yet, that's cool, because you can't do it yet, but you will, one day. I have faith in you guys. Alright, so enough ramble. My heels are being tickled by I was going to say by my toes, by my fingers. Toes are nice and spread, okay, just like before. So again, guys, if you want to do some hip raises, if you want to interlace a hand, shuffle the shoulders back, you can stay there. If you want to raise a leg to challenge yourselves more, you can do that, okay? If you want to take it a step further, we're going to bring the fingers so they're kind of at the level, yeah, they might have sort of just tickling my shoulders, okay? And I'm going to push down, I'm going to raise my hips up, and I'm going to lift up. Lift off. Alright, you can stay here. If you want more of a challenge, you can do some push-ups. Huzzah. If you want to, you can raise a leg. Trying to keep those hips square, which I find really difficult. And then the other leg. You can hold it. If you want to, you can then lower onto the forearms. This one is really intense. It may not be best for knees. Oh, that felt so good. So, I found that one. Whew. Just lie down for a moment when you finish. Hopefully, sorry guys, hopefully you caught all that. So I realised as soon as I was up that my mat was slipping on my carpet. I had to get rid of my actual yoga mat because it got really, really holey, and I haven't replaced it yet. So I'm using a yoga towel. Whew. And it's really slippery. Oh my god. carpet. And I realised as soon as I was up that I was starting to slip, so I was just trying to hold on to that to show you guys the full sequence. So take your time. I may have rushed that slightly. Oh, it feels so good though. Whew. Oh, and then just lie. That, so good. Forearm one is really intense. And I would only really suggest trying that if you feel comfortable with the other variations, I guess. I think if you did some push-ups. I normally try and do 10 of those push-ups. I only didn't today because I could literally feel everything slipping beneath me with my lack of grip. So try and do 10 of those bad boys, and then lift in the right leg and left leg. Obviously not together unless you've got superhuman strength, and then I'm impressed. And then can slowly come onto the forearms. And then getting out of that is also really tough. You could probably tuck the chin under and gently roll down from the forearms. That might work. I haven't tried doing that. I always come back up into bridge. Which then was a challenge just because it is so slippery. I haven't done that variation in a while, and I haven't done it just with a yoga towel. So I do recommend having good grip. Anyway, let's stop talking. And then just allowing yourselves to sit and just lie back a bit. Maybe you want to windscreen out to the legs. Maybe you want to hug the knees into the chest. Notice I didn't hug the knees in between the chest, in between each sequence. I did do it a little bit after bow. But whilst you're doing the wheel poses, I think I read somewhere that it's best to do, even if you do them a few times, maybe you just want to practice getting up into it, holding it, and then coming back down, yeah, because that in itself takes a while. But try not to curl too much together when you're in between, because I think it puts more strain on the lower spine. So I would say do a few variations or do a few of your bridge, and then when you've finished doing that, then you can hug here a little bit, okay? I think it just helps to decompress the lower back a bit. Okay, oh gosh, I feel so much better for doing that, guys. Hopefully that wasn't too fast. I think it was okay timing wise. I do apologise because my yeah, like I say, I was just gonna slip down otherwise. Anyway, lying back in Shavasana, taking some deep breaths. In through the nose, out through the nose. I would definitely encourage at least 5 minutes of just chilling out here. Longer if you've got the time. And yeah, I'm just going to bring my hands to heart center. Thank you guys so much for being here. Give yourselves a little thank you, a little grateful thought. Perhaps you got something out of today's practice. I hope that you did. And I also hope that you leave your mat feeling a little bit lighter. Thank you so much for joining me in this challenging back bend. Tomorrow we'll be doing fold into fall. The next week will be themes of fold into fall. So they'll be a little bit more beginner friendly, I think. I know today's was a bit more of a challenging one, but I hope you guys got something out of it, and remember to be kind to yourselves during the process. A lot of my postures still aren't perfect, but that's okay, work in progress. Thank you so much, guys. Namaste.
Just don't get too far, and I'll be right where you are.